Face your fears, all of them. With the spoiling of Duskmourn House of Horrors, there is a new mechanic that has been revealed called Impending. And as you can see here on the screen, Overlord of the Hauntwoods has Impending 4, 1 green green. If you cast this spell for its Impending cost, it enters with 4 time counters and isn't a creature until the last is removed. At the beginning of your end step, remove a time counter from it. And as you can see, this is similar to Suspend. And I'll pull up the Scryfall here. So Suspend is a little bit like Impending, except that the card sits face up in exile. And so what you're doing here is you're paying a cheaper upfront cost most of the time for an effect that comes later in the game, essentially. Now, there are some exceptions. This card here, Profane Tutor, doesn't have a mana cost. Overlord of the Hauntwoods has a mana cost. You can simply cast it for 5 if you so choose. And this card here enters, whenever it enters or attacks, create a tapped colorless land token named Everywhere that is every basic land type. And so this is actually bringing another concept that has been discussed in Wizards over the years with land tokens. Orvar the All form has the ability to make land tokens. I should have had that one pulled up, but here we go, Orvar. So this card here, whenever you target your stuff, you create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents, and so you can like target your lands and ramp a lot. Wizards has always been a little wary of creating land tokens because it's a little bit confusing potentially for some players. But as you can see here, the topic here is Impending, and with Impending, we get kind of the sense of doom. That's the knowing that doom is coming, and that's kind of goes with the theme of Duskmourn House of Horror. And with Duskmourn House of Horror, it's obviously, it's literally is what it says. It's based on a spooky haunted house that is like swallowed up a plane or something to that effect. I'm not entirely sure on the lore here. I'm not a lore expert, but it's unlike Innistrad, which is based on classic horror of the 1800s, roughly, with Lovecraft type stuff, gothic horror, Frankenstein, that type of thing. You have Duskmourn, which is based more on the horror of the 1980s and 90s, maybe a little bit of 70s in there too. So you have cards that are based on like The Thing. You got a little bit of Ghostbusters action, a little bit of Stranger Things, and so on and so forth. And so with Duskmourn, the mechanic Impending, I actually really like, because this kind of opens up a lot of strategies in Commander. Well, it opens up certain strategies. So, for example, here we have Enchantress. You can cast this particular card, Overlord of the Hauntwoods, which is an enchantment creature, for its Impending cost for cheaper. And you're triggering your Enchantress effects. You're getting a cheaper cost, and it kind of boosts some of those decks. Like Sithis, this card might be good in Sithis, for example. Then you can also play it in, I think I looked up a bunch of themes here. So there's the Wrath theme. You can play it in a deck with like a lot of Wrath of Gods, because you're playing this card as a non-creature permanent, and then you Wrath board. You can also use it it's similar to the Theros Gods as well. So we have those pulled up here. These are not creatures unless you have sufficient devotion: Perforos, Thassa, Heliod, Xenagos, etc. These cards here are interesting because it is a creature, but it's not a lot of the time. And this protects it from cards from removal like Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile type effects. Impending I like because, again, you're getting a cheaper upfront cost. You're getting a card later down the road that's powerful, that's a big creature that can start swinging in, and it's really cool. So here's what also could work with Impending. So you have cards that remove counters from permanents. Glissa Sunslayer is a great example. This is actually a commander, so you can build an Impending style Glissa Sunslayer deck, and whenever she deals combat damage to a player, choose one, and one of the options is remove up to 3 counters from target permanent. So you really speed up your Impending cards with Glissa Sunslayer. Clock Spinning is another famous one. Power Conduit's big. Hex Parasite, so on and so forth. There's also cards like Joyrus Time Bug, which removes time counters specifically, which Impending has. Again, Fury Charm, I already mentioned a bunch of these. And so, as we can see, Impending has quite a lot of build possibilities. Twitter was pretty excited about this. They were also kind of joking about all the spoilers. It says the spoilers will continue until morale improves. And if you've been following, Bloomburrow is actually the set that comes before Duskmourn, but I figured I'd make this Duskmourn video first because Bloomburrow mechanics have not been like thoroughly fleshed out yet. It's kind of weird. Like Wizards is doing this thing where they have they kind of like almost double spoiled during MagicCon Amsterdam. They kind of double spoiled Bloomburrow and Duskmourn. And so I've been saying Duskmourn. So Duskmourn has a lot of really cool cards, really cool effects, but really here I'm focusing on Impending. Going back to Twitter here, Saffron Olive says that, they've announced the Duskmourn spoilers. People are hoping that it gets darker rather than the goofy detectives and silly cowboys compared to the previous sets. Some people actually, I think Bloomburrow is going to be a bigger, more popular set than Duskmourn, potentially just because of the cute animals, and the cute animal effect is way bigger than you think it is. So, but I'm actually super hyped for Duskmourn here. So going back to some more Twitter comments, really excited for Duskmourn. They're phasing out the list in favor of treatments like this here. So again, Overlord of the Hauntwoods. This is a really cool treatment. I really love the border on that. That's fantastic. People are kind of comparing it to other types of card games with the style of card here. I forget the type of carding. Was it Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon? Something like that. But there's a lot of really cool borders. Love the art on this. Horror-filled, haunted house. Just kind of like this terror of the unknown. A lot of nightmares, a lot of creepy things. There's here we go, twitching doll. I was just trying to find this one. There's a cat made of spiders. Super flavorful. I love this. This card's going to my cube, by the way. It's a mana dork that makes tokens later. People are going to proxy it just to avoid the fear of bugs. The fear of spiders. It is a scary artwork, but yeah, just the whole idea of Duskmourn, the idea of Impending is great. And Saffron Olive compares this to a better Topiary Stomper for Domain, which helps with triomes. Oh yeah, everywhere. That's every basic land type. So if you have land type matters, this works with specifically Overlord of the Hauntwoods. And so I'm just really excited for Impending. I'm really excited for Duskmourn. The flavor of this set to me is great. I know people have complained about like the chainsaws and the TVs and the Yeezys and stuff like that, but I'm in agreement with Saffron Olive. But the theme of it is really cool. It's dark. It's not like Ravnica. There's no silly detective hats. It's just like a haunted house, nightmares. How do you get out of it? Like, what is the deal with this haunted house? It's essentially a plane that's a haunted house, and like, what's going on with this? So yeah, what do you guys think of Impending, the mechanic? What do you think of Duskmourn, the flavor? And what do you think overall of the spoiler season style? Do you think that they should have even spoiled Duskmourn before they spoiled most of Bloomburrow? Because right now it's like 50-50. They kind of done a little bit of both. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.